Hola, I'm Heidi, and this is another episode of Money Talks. Ayan. Oh, alam niyo na sasabihin ko, excited na naman ako. Yes, of course, I am so excited. Unang-una, I thought I wouldn't be able to make it on time for this episode because galing pa ako ng office. So as you know naman, I'm also a financial advisor and a unit manager. So I came from the office and then I rushed through here and I made it on time for this episode because I'm really, really so excited. This is the third installment of our Women's Month series, and sobrang nakakatuwa because the first and the second series was first and the second episodes were really so refreshing, and I think it's but um ano ba fair to parang succeed it with something na sobrang refreshing din for the soul, for the mind, and sobrang nakakatuwa kasi there are a lot of people kasi who have been struggling, and sometimes hindi lang natin alam kung paano tayo makaka-cope up with that. And there is this method na well, hindi ko naman na-discover kasi alam na naman ng mga tao yun, no? But the thing is, meron kasing method pala that we could all use para to combat that, the stress, the frustration, the disappointments, and kasi once you get it out of the way, all those negative talks about yourself, it will change the way you deal with things, 'di ba? And the method that I'm talking about is about the meditation and being and mindfulness. And kung nakakatulong pala siya, ito yung weird thing eh. Kung nakakatulong pala siya at kung nakaka-distress pala siya, I wonder why not most people talk about it, 'di ba? And right now, sobrang nakakatuwa because yung guest natin for tonight, he is sobrang proud talaga ako, guys, because he also came from the corporate world, and right now he is pursuing his passion. And the topic that he chose, which is itatanong ko nga sa kanya kung bakit yun yung napili niya. The topic that he chose is about meditation and mindfulness dun sa podcast niya. And the surprising thing about it is ang daming nagko-consume ng content niya. So which gives us the signal that this is really working because a lot of people feels that this really helps them cope with whatever it is that they are having. And sobrang flattered talaga kaming mag-ina because we were the first mother and daughter tandem who guested in his podcast, and nagbasa kami ng tula doon ng anak ko. So sobrang amazing experience that he was able to share with us, or he was able to let us experience. If you think that you have a friend or someone in your family who needs to watch this, who is in so much depression, who is in so much pain, who is in so much, who is struggling in life right now, who parang nahihirapan siya mag-cope. I hope that this episode will help you because later on, he will also be sharing with us some tips on how to do some meditation and mindfulness activities or exercises. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to introduce to you my very, very good friend, Sir Josel. Oh my gosh. Hello, Sir Josel.
Hello, Heidi. Maraming salamat for inviting me here today. This is such an honor. And, sabi ko sa'yo kanina bago nasa backstage, sabi ko, I'm so lucky to be in the same frame as this pretty woman here right
Huy,
now.
Sir, the pleasure is mine. Sobrang the pleasure is mine talaga. Sobrang
Thank you.
inabangan din natin tong episode na to, no. Sobrang natutuwa talaga ako at nangyari na siya. And what better way to discuss, or what better topic to discuss talaga is the one thing that talagang expertise mo din, and you have been practicing this and you have been sharing this through your podcast, and now we are sharing it to our viewers as well, so I'm really, really so excited. Okay, but Sir Josel, before we start with that one, magchikahan muna tayo tungkol
Ano?
sa sa personal na bagay, ano.
Uh,
So kasi as I said kanina, you were in the corporate world before,
I was,
'di
yeah.
ba? And for some reason bigla ka nag-podcast. Unang tanong, why? And of all the topics, Why meditation and mindfulness? Can you
Well,
tell us something about it?
those are two questions, by the way. So, what's fantastic about it is that these two questions connect with each other. First, the question is why, of all things, you're a corporate guy. I was in training, by the way, for a good decade, maybe even longer. And I realized that training per se, not just in corporate, but also in mainstream education, is also already using online platforms. Particularly, not just YouTube or TikTok, yung mga nakikita natin ngayon, but the podcasting platform. What's interesting about that is that podcasting started in 2004
Mm-hmm.
when the iPod, yung iPod, remember, your
Yeah,
first
yeah.
gadget na MP3 ang piniplay. That started in 2004, and because of that, they started radio show like
Mm-hmm.
programs on the iPod, no?
Mm-hmm.
So it's relatively young. That's how it started. So I saw the potential as early as what 2005,
Mm-hmm.
and then your next question was why of all things, no? Why coming from corporate to podcasting? Kasi pati corporate communications is also changing eh.
Mm-hmm.
You have several shows that are talking about your industry, talking about
Mm-hmm.
insurance and investment. No?
Mm-hmm.
And just as an aside, konting yabang lang was that I was one of the first to started the program about financial advisors,
Mm-hmm.
podcasting 2020. So the field is so interesting that people are not just watching, but more so they are listening more compared to watching videos
Mm-hmm.
or well, you cannot beat Netflix, of course, and all those other
Yeah.
YouTube platforms. No? Yan.
And that the retention, ano kasi, di ba, the retention, you were
Yeah. Yeah.
telling me a while ago just sa backstage, di ba, that the retention span or whatever you call it
Well, the
is
drop off. Yeah.
the drop off rate is
Yeah.
parang less likely sila mag-drop off sa
Oo.
podcast compared
Well,
to
ganun din naman tayo, 'di ba? Pag sa Netflix
mhm,
medyo may kailangan kang gawin, stop muna, balikan
mhm,
mo na lang. Or a
mhm,
YouTube video that you see online, it looks interesting, but
mhm,
it's actually after 5 minutes you drop off. Either
mhm.
you stand up, close the laptop, or open another tab because it's boring, no? But
Yeah.
in audio, on platforms and particularly in podcasting, the drop off rate is 30 minutes, which means people
Oh,
stay
okay.
longer when they are
Mhm.
or really bear with listening because they're also doing other stuff like driving,
Correct.
walking, gardening, washing the dishes, diba?
Mm.
It's an amazing
And
time
ano
to
yun,
learn.
continuous playing kasi siya. So, kung
Oh,
may ginagawa siya, he wouldn't be able to stop it na, 'di ba? Pero
mm-mm.
financial kasi yung pinanggalingan natin, Sir Josel, eh.
Yeah.
Pero napunta ka dun sa mindfulness and meditation. Bakit? Ano nangyari? May nangyari ba? Ano? Yun yung
Palagi
napili
naman.
mong ano?
There's always a lot of things happening to each and every
Mhm,
person, each and every human being.
mhm,
But
mhm,
as for my case, as early as 2001, I was already a meditator. I
hmm,
was signed up for TM. Now, if you're familiar with that, or the listeners are familiar with that, it's transcendental meditation. Though
mm,
I am devoutly Catholic, I was
mhm,
practicing TM already. It's really not your typical Hindu mantra where you repeat it. Well, there are mantras also, but it does not,
mhm,
the practice did not ask me to leave my Catholic faith. So sabi ko, "Oh, okay, sige." And when I started doing that, I realized that I became more, not slower. How do I explain this? It felt like the world became more observable,
hmm,
and
okay.
that were so fast or seemingly so fast became slower, and I
Mhm.
saw every detail of it. So some people say you look calmer, you look more.
Yes, you look younger, you look great talaga. I told you that then.
Thank you.
'Di ba, compared dun sa before that you were in the corporate, not that ano, 'di ba, pero the difference is really amazing.
Oh, well, thank you very much, very kind. Ang nangyari din, what happened in the pandemic, almost
Mhm,
everybody had their thing, no? There's maybe not one person in the world that didn't have a thing
Mhm.
for the pandemic and about the pandemic.
Mhm.
So I decided, this is the perfect time to get back to the practice, because for some time I was not meditating anymore. No, I was
Mhm.
uh, angry all the time. Angry, not naman nagwawala, but I was worried, anxious, like most of us.
Yeah.
So when I decided to do that, one meditation session that I did with myself, I realized, wait, this is not just me. In a world of 7 billion people that is experiencing this thing right now, possibly more than 5 million, excluding the babies, of course, no, and the
Yeah.
people that are already having Alzheimer's or dementia. They're
Mhm.
the ones that are really into it and are anxious or depressed, no, of how things are turning out. So
Mhm.
I said they need help, like most of us. Like I helped myself, and I realized that if you help people, also they are also you will feel that you are also helping yourself. That's how I saw it, no? And that's
Yeah.
how I
Mm.
experienced it.
Ang galing. So, siyempre kaya naman 'di ba, sa sobrang effective nung program mo, it became number one in Asia that time, 'di ba? When was that? It became number one in Asia and no top
Yeah,
5 or top 10 in some regions, 'di ba? So, tell us
yeah.
about it. Sobrang sobrang nakakatuwa yun. Every
Well,
podcaster's dream,
oh, it is, yeah. I'm so
'di
grateful
ba?
for that. Rankings change every now and then. No, sometimes you're
Mm.
there, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're suddenly in a rating or in a ranking somewhere in Brunei Darussalam or Luxembourg
Mm.
or Tunisia, no, of all countries. No, you will realize that people are really connected. It's not just
Yeah.
una, akala ko Pilipinas lang, okay na. No, it's
Mm.
really something that you need to open your eyes on and about,
Mm.
because hindi lang naman tayo ang naging worried and anxious about the future and even the present situation. So I found myself getting messages or comments or suddenly in the rankings of podcasts in different countries under the mental health space, no. Sometimes I'm
Mm.
ranking in the overall podcast, but it's
Mm.
practically basically on the mental health space.
Ang galing. That's also when we know that this is really a persistent problem din ng mga tao na,
Oh
'di
yeah,
ba, na
yeah,
because you have to search it, 'di ba, yung mental health something, 'di ba, the you have to search for that,
yeah,
parang keyword din ba yan? And then
yeah.
for you to be able to rank there, it means that a lot of people are really searching for
Oh, there are
answers, really
plenty.
searching for help. Yeah.
That's true. Talagang over the past decade siguro, that hindi naman natin
Mm.
pinag-uusapan dati mental health, 'di ba? Sinasabi mo lang
Exactly,
stress, stressed
exactly.
ako, stressed. Pero di mo alam yung lalim nun,
Yun
yung
na
root
pala
nun
yun.
is actually your mental health. And you
Mm.
will now, our kids age 12 or maybe even younger would
Mhm.
say, I have to take care of my mental health. Seriously?
Yeah.
Ganun na yung tono nila eh. Which I think is a good sign, because there's self-awareness also, not
Yes.
self-awareness and also awareness for other people who are experiencing
Mhm.
things like
Mm.
that. No?
Because you really have to be first aware of what you're feeling para at least alam mo kung
Right.
paano siya i-a-address, eh, 'di ba?
So
So,
true.
okay, now that I know where all these things are coming from, so what I want to ask now is, kasi eto like si Wendy tinanong din dito, what is the difference between mindfulness and meditation, 'di ba? So ako din, yung isa
Okay.
din 'yan dun sa mga questions ko. Kasi meron pang yoga. So parang may confusion on the similarities or differences of these things.
Yeah.
Ano ba yung difference niya, Sir
That's a
Josel?
great question, Wendy. And thank you for asking that. You know what? Although may differences in definition, they are linked to each other. Let me explain. When you are mindful, meaning you are present, awake, alert, and alive. No?
Mhm.
You see every detail of, say, you're looking at a tree, you know that it's green, you know that it's what, 30 feet high, and then you
Mhm.
have the experience of it because of the colors that you see. But other
Mhm.
than that, you are present with the situation. You see the tree swaying. You can feel that there's wind coming from the tree because the leaves are like fanning you with, with air and oxygen. If you go as deep as that or go into much deeper level, you could probably even experience the life of the tree, no? Pero medyo sobrang lalim na nun. But the experience of it, being there at that moment and not thinking of anything else, baka hindi mo iniisip kung lulutuin mo mamayang pananghalian or anong merienda ng anak mo, but you are in the experience of the tree. Or in a more mundane sense, you're walking, but you're simply enjoying every stride, and the air that you breathe in while you're walking is you feel that it's nourishing you. That's already mindfulness. No, and if you feel that there's, halimbawa, on the flip side, you feel that there's pain on your shoulder because sports or pagod or maybe taking too long doing work at the computer, and you acknowledge that pain and you don't make it go away or disregard it, that's mindfulness. Another thing I think is one of the most important is when you're talking with a friend, having a conversation, that you're really paying attention to what your friend is saying, and you listen more than comment or react more. That's mindfulness. And you, I just said a while ago, this is connected because when you are in that state, in the here and now, like the example is having a conversation with your friend, you are feeling that person, understanding that person, comprehending, and even connecting with that person. And in a sense, that has become meditative already because you pay
Oh.
attention. Di ba? So mindfulness is not some woo-woo thing where space cowboys o yung mga mga hippie would say, you have to do this, man. You have to, experience peace and tranquility. Yes, it's there. It's free. You don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to join any movement or pay any fee. Yoga is a different thing because it's a physical experience also of that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mindfulness. Being mindful of your body. No? So yoga and mindfulness are connected. When you do a certain pose like downward dog or prayer pose or warrior pose, you feel every muscle, every sinew in your muscle. That's mindfulness. And when you're aware of that and you in a more deeper sense, you would tell your body this is how you will heal, this is how you will move, this is how you will be whole.
Mm-hmm.
That's already meditation. So it's really interconnected. So if you're asking, if I'm mindful, am I already meditating? Let's use prayer as an example. Sabi nila, di ba, praying and meditating, what's the difference? Here's my take. If you're praying, you're asking for something.
Mm-hmm.
Help me close that sale. Make me MDRT. Help me make my first million, or
Mm-hmm.
make that person say yes to my proposal. Versus meditation, where you now keep quiet and listen to God and
Oh.
pay attention to what He's going to say or what He's telling you.
Mm-hmm.
That's meditation. What is more difficult? I say meditation is more difficult because there's so many things in our head where even at that point or several points where we tell God our opinion and we think that that ought to be God's opinion as well.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Diba?
Actually,
So,
I told someone that then just yesterday.
mm,
Sometimes we would pray to God with the thought that with a ready answer already. Yung parang gano'n na meron 'pag nag-pray ka kay God, may expected ka na answer from him, which is should not be. Yeah, go ahead. Naalala ko lang.
that's true. Hindi, I agree with you. There's an old saying that said, it's an anecdote.
Mhm,
This guy praying, he said, Lord, what's a million pesos to you?
mhm,
It's only about, it's like one centavo, no?
mhm,
Uh, Lord, what's 100 years to you? It's like 1 minute.
mhm,
Lord, give me 1 million pesos. Then the God says, okay, wait 1 minute.
Aw, it's powerful. Grabe naman, no? Ang saya nun.
But that's not what it really meant. It's about listening, di ba? It's
Correct,
about
correct, correct.
understanding what he's saying. God is a not just a loving God, but also a funny being.
Funny guy.
Because, yeah, ba? That's that sense of humor is really
Correct,
there.
correct. Ang galing, sobra. So, mindfulness is really something that it's more of you listen and you absorb whatever it is that is
Yes.
surrounding you, 'di ba? So
Yes.
yun yung take ko doon eh. And then mindfulness is you being sensitive about the things that's going around you and not just focusing on yourself, 'di ba? So
Perfect.
galing, galing. Okay.
Imagine having that with
Mm,
your relationships, diba? So,
correct.
mm, hmm.
Kasi we would tend to always think about ourselves
Yo, yeah,
and then our problems, what's consuming us, 'di ba? And we forgot that that's really just a small part of life
that's
that we
true.
just have to go through. And mindfulness and meditation can help us also to overcome those things.
And
I
see the bigger
remember
picture. Yeah.
correct, correct. I remember I was my son was watching
Mm,
NBA last month, and then I saw LeBron James. He was
mm.
sitting on the chair, and then he was closing his eyes and he was doing like this. Sabi ko sa anak ko, "Anak, what is he doing?" Sabi niya ganun, "Mom, he's meditating." Even my son knows that. So sobrang nakakatawa. Ang galing-galing. Anyway, all right. So now that we know the difference between meditation and mindfulness, eto. Um I don't know if it's possible for us to hear from you what are since you've already mentioned the benefits, but if
Mm.
you want to add some more of the benefits, please go ahead. But the other thing that I want to ask you also is, are there activities, simple activities that we could do to practice this? Because I know that hindi naman to yung
Mm,
pagka sinabi mo, alam na namin kaagad eh, di ba? Kasi
mm.
meron pa rin mga distractions and you'd still think about the problems, di ba? Pero
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
start from the benefits and then what are the activities that we could do?
Oh, you just mentioned before I tell you the benefits. You mentioned a while back that I'm an expert in meditating and mindfulness. Truth is, I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't believe anybody is, especially
Mm-hmm.
those that say that they are in this field or they help people do that. This is a constant learning process
Mm-hmm.
where the things that you experience will teach you new things. Each
Mm-hmm.
and every person, each and every experience, occasion, phenomena will tell you a new side. Therefore, this is never going to end, no? And this is the beauty of that. The benefit of that is that, let me anchor it on most people, since we talk about money also, no?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the perfect anchor. Some people think that if I have 1,000,000 pesos, that's going to make me very happy. Di ba?
Yeah.
Maraming tao nagsasabi niyan. So, they work, they work, they work, and then they reach that 1,000,000 pesos. They come to that point. What do they think? What will they say to themselves? Yeah, this is 1 million. Am I happy? I want a million more, maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe a billion. So
Mm-hmm.
it's never going to stop. But if they decide that the process to getting that million, or the journey to get that million or several million, is already where they should be, is already the thing that they need to experience and highlight and capitalize on every time they reach a milestone, they will not be sad, but they
Mm-hmm.
will be happier in the journey.
Correct. Kasi
Because
may
if,
small wins.
oo eh.
Mm-mm.
And people always make the mistake of setting up that trap
Mm-hmm.
by the time they reach 10 million, because that was his goal a year ago, and then he reaches
Mm-hmm.
10 million, or she reaches 10 million, and
Mm-hmm.
realizes, I'm not happy. What's wrong? Maybe it's because of the setting. It's really about understanding the journey to get there is really where you ought to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's never going to stop. So the benefit of going through that journey, that money making journey, for example, what will make you happy in that money making journey? Maybe it's about you targeting that because you want to help more people,
Yeah.
because you want to contribute to the world more. Isn't that going to make you happy? Because you want to be more significant by being more contributory or helpful to the world. That's why they always say when you make money or make lots of money, don't increase the standard of your standard of living, but increase your standard of giving.
Giving, correct. Mm-mm.
So that's what's going to make you happy. Is it the earning that's going to make you happy? Probably not. It's really about the helping and the giving and becoming significant. So the journey itself is the mindfulness that
Mm-hmm.
you ought to practice. The ups and downs, even the disappointments, no?
Mm-hmm.
And you will not see disappointments as really a bad thing. In fact, disappointments and sadness or depression are the things that can make you stronger.
Yeah.
So
Mm-mm.
you will flip the way you see disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the other benefits while you are meditating or being mindful, you have better health and better relationships. I think that's what's key. Unless you live in a cave where you don't have to establish any relationship or rapport
Oh.
with the mailman or the barbero or the butcher in the palenque, then that's the way you choose to live your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
But the mindfulness of being here and now, no, and being mindful of the life force that's inside you, which is your breath. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Galing. I like that. So, what are the exercises that we could start with?
Oh, yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned yoga, and
Okay.
I am I right that you are a practicing? You're practicing yoga also, or some form of
No, I'm
yoga?
not.
Well, that's okay because if
Mm-mm.
you're walking and you're breathing properly, that's mindfulness. Let's talk
Okay.
about the breath later because that's the most important for me. Huh?
All right.
And if you practice yoga, that's good also because it's being
Mm-hmm.
mindful of your body, how it helps you stand straight or be able to function
Mm-hmm.
properly, no? Especially if you have a physical job or even kahit hindi physical, you just have to be presentable to people, then yoga is going to be a great help.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up in the morning, this is one thing that I really have to mention. No? Do not check your social media for 1 hour. Somebody, somebody's doing
Guys,
that.
wag na kasi kayo mag-check. Ano ba kayo?
Don't check. Check it after an hour. I'm not saying don't check it for the whole day. You need to because you need that for your work.
Okay.
What you do in the morning is you sit up, or if you want, you feel like you're standing up to stand up already, then stand up. Um, Go outside, go for a walk. No, some people are sluggish and feeling they want to go back to bed. No, one tip that most people will agree with me that really is really going to wake them up is go for that shower, hit the
Mm.
shower, the coldest you can go, and then go for what
Agad-agad.
2-3 minutes, no, and then go for a walk. Ang sarap maglakad and savor the air. And don't check your social media or even TV. I don't want to check the TV in the morning because, the first thing you hear is bad news. Di ba? Kadalasan, di ba? Kaya yung mga ibang
Oo
tao,
nga.
bakit ako depressed? Kasi bago ka matulog, nanood ka ng news.
Mhm.
Paggising mo, nanood ka ulit ng news. Ngayon, tataka ka. Di ba?
Tsaka sa
Bakit
social
ganyan?
media din, we're not spared.
Oh,
Kasi 'di
yeah.
ba may mga 'di ba?
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely. Especially if you're the type that really stays in watching bad news. That's your algorithm already. I
mm,
mean,
mm.
people in Facebook or the social media platforms are saying, she loves bad news. Let's give her more. Diba?
Lalo mo pa in-agitate 'no, grabe.
Oo, ganun ang hinahanap because that's
Mm,
that's what's selling when
mm,
they
mm.
reach out to you. And I want to mention the breath also.
Yeah.
The breath is the most free thing that we can ever have. Uh, pasintabi na lang sa mga taong nasa medyo may lugar na hindi gano'n maganda ang hangin. But, you know, do it indoors if you wanna do
Mhm.
breathing exercises, no? That's also one great thing to do in the morning, just to breathe in the positivity and breathe out the negativity. Some people will say, yun na naman, it's woo-woo na naman niya eh. Kunyari, positivity or negativity out, no? I'll ask you to do one thing, and this is a hack proven by neuroscientists, no?
Mhm.
If you inhale, try inhaling now.
Yeah.
When you inhale, closed mouth, that's what you normally do if you are preparing for something stressful, like to be extreme if you're preparing for a fight. Di ba?
Oh, yeah, yeah, oo.
If you're preparing for something stressful. But when you exhale through your nose, it's your brain telling you that you have to calm down and relax. Okay, again, inhale is telling your sympathetic nervous system in your brain that
Mhm.
let's prepare for something. But
Okay.
when you exhale, it's the parasympathetic nervous system that tells your body to calm down,
Calm down.
relax. So the hack is if you try to inhale for 4 seconds with your mouth closed, and then exhale for six. Do it again. Inhale, exhale. How do you feel?
Relaxed.
And it will
Totoo,
even
no?
get rid of your allergies, your allergic rhinitis, your breathing problems, and it will even help you sleep better. Just
Eh,
that simple.
ang ano 'no, kasi you're inhaling 4 seconds nga, 'di ba, na
Mm.
matagal. But you are still able to sustain the exhale for 6 seconds, 'no? I mean, the amount of the air that you have inhaled for 4 seconds could be slowly exhaled
Yeah, for
in
longer.
6 seconds for longer.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one that makes us calm, eh, 'di ba? Yung
Yes.
pag-exhale mo.
To give you a short explanation,
Mm.
a doctor friend of mine taught me that. His name's Charles Florendo. If Charles, if
Mm.
you're listening, I want you to watch this show also. He would be a great guest for you also because he
Wow.
practices breathing,
Mhm.
and he helped me get rid of my allergic rhinitis, helped me sleep better to a certain extent, lowered my snoring,
Mm.
and made me feel better, especially when I wake up in the morning. What happens when you exhale, kaya for longer, kaya mo, you are expelling CO2 or carbon dioxide. Carbon
Okay.
dioxide is not all that bad. We need that. But carbon
Mm.
dioxide is the vehicle that expels all toxins in your body. That's why you remain calmer because the toxins are also going out. Just make sure that you breathe through your nose, inhale and exhale. Because if your mouth is open naman and you breathe through your chest, that's going to give you what? Allergies and some problems. Your nose is
Oh.
really your nose is really built for filtering
Mhm.
the air that you take in and take out. So that's going to help
Oh,
with
okay. So, iba rin yung effect kapagka ang exhale mo sa bibig naman, I mean, in-inhale mo sa nose and then in-exhale mo sa mouth, iba rin yung magiging effect
iba,
nun sa'yo?
iba. Oo, iba.
Ah, okay. Which reminds me, alam mo Sir Josel, kapagka yung hindi I watched it somewhere and kasi hirap ako matulog minsan lalo 'pag sobrang excited ako. For some reason, yung mga creativity sa gabi talaga dumadalaw, eh. Kung
Oh,
kailan gusto mo na magpahinga, dun lumalabas yung mga ano, creative juices na kailangan mo ilabas. Pero, yun nga napanood ko yung video na yon, or I really can't remember what kind of content that was. But it's like that also. Inhale sa nose for 4 seconds and then exhale sa nose for 6 seconds
yes.
until you go until makatulog ka. And
Yeah,
that really
yeah.
works for me.
The
That really works
478,
for
is that the
me.
478?
I can't
4
remember.
inhale, 7 hold, and then 8 seconds exhale.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Tama, tama,
478.
tama, tama.
Tulog ka
It
kaagad,
it
'di ba?
works for me, it works for
Yeah.
me. Parang siguro hindi ko na nga mamalayan kung ilang ilang sets 'yun, eh. Siguro
Oo,
mga 3
tulog
sets
ka na, eh.
lang, tulog na ako. Yun, kasi medyo mahirap lang talaga. So, mahirap lang talaga matulog, pero when I learned about it, it really works for me and it's ano rin pala 'no, mindfulness and meditation
It's
din pala. So, ang
mindfulness, and
galing-galing.
that's why instead of the cell phone right beside you in your headboard,
Mm, mm.
get a journal. Because if you
Yeah.
dream of something, an idea pops in, or you dreamt of an idea, you can write it down.
Mm,
That's
mm.
okay. A journal is acceptable,
Yeah.
and it kickstarts your brain in the morning.
What I do na nga lang din kasi, nire-record ko na lang yung boses ko the way I heard
Ah,
it sa sa isip ko. So, I do a voice note about it. Ganyan lang. Tas,
that's good
and
too.
then do the mindfulness and meditation. The 4-7 what's again,
Or 7, 8.
4-7-6 4-7-8, yeah, for the 4-7-8. So it works for me. So if ever you guys are listening right now, if you are watching elsewhere, or the replay or whatnot, you try that. If you're having a hard time sleeping, I kid you not, it works.
Oh,
So you wouldn't know how many sets you did, but it really works. You will really fall asleep fast.
yeah.
And yeah, if ever you are in a defense mode, try yung ginawa naman ni Sir Josel na 4 seconds inhale through your nose and then six
Mm.
seconds exhale through your nose again.
You can go
Super.
longer pa if you wanna. If you can go 8 seconds exhale, the better.
Mm,
If you go longer, you will the benefits are much more enhanced.
good. Oh my gosh. Sige, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. Oh my gosh. Sir Josel, ang bilis nung episode natin ngayon because pero do'n sa bilis ng episode na 'yun, sobrang dami na natin napag-usapan and you were able to provide talaga valuable inputs, especially dun sa mga simple exercises that we could do. If ever there are other things that you want us to know, please, share it now. And, if ever you want to give your final message to our viewers, please share it now as well. Sobrang na-e-excite ako sa mga sasabihin mo pa, grabe.
Well, una sa lahat, maraming salamat, Heidi, for inviting me here. I'm so happy that I could have a chat with you, first and foremost. And second, with your friends who are listening to you, keep listening because you're getting a lot of information and knowledge and benefits to not just your practice if you're a financial advisor or in your life itself, no? And I heard Heidi, how passionate she is, how she plans her shows. She's the most efficient podcaster. I'll call you a podcaster na, no? Because you will
Wow!
be, ganun din eh. Just have to
Declaration.
switch your platforms, di ba? So I'm very happy to be here and I hope you could stay with this show and see how it develops, and I assure you, inunahan na, no? There will be better developments where this show is going to be taken in a different level. And also, if you are stressed, anxious, no, kasi dalawa yan eh. If you're sad about the future, you're depressed. If you're worried about sorry, if you're sad about the past, you're depressed. If you're worried about the future, you're anxious. Either way, it's not good because you're not living in the now. No? You have to be here and now. That is the
That's
difference. Kaya
nice.
sinasabi nila, where is enlightenment? I say it's nowhere.
Mhm,
Diba? Analyze the word nowhere. It's now
mhm.
and here. No? In two words.
Yeah.
Nowhere, now and here. That's where you ought to be thinking. And if you have friends, family members, people that you care about that are stressed, no, talk to them because this is a different time. These are extraordinary times, especially when we're moving into a new normal. 2 years ago, may new normal ko no. Ngayon, new normal na naman. Balik tayo sa dati. Di ba? Di ba
Back to
talaga? Di ba?
normal.
Back to normal. Yung new normal raw yung back to normal. And for those of you who want to listen more, and I would like to help you, please listen to Find Your Daily Calm. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mhm.
If you have Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on YouTube, but it's also purely audio. We would like to hear what you think about. And if you have any issues that you need help on, I'm also a mindfulness coach. You may get my contact from Heidi. No?
Yep.
And I would love to help you. More power to this show, more power to women. And
Oh,
your next guest next week is a very good friend of mine, and I'm an honorary
oh
woman in her company.
grabe,
So I'm so
sobrang
happy.
nako, excited din ako talaga do sa next episodes natin for this month. Sobrang Sir Josel, sobrang thank you. Sobrang thank you. And speaking
Thank you.
of the guests that we will be having for next week. Okay, let me just previous episodes muna tayo. If you miss the previous episodes that we had during the first and second week of this month, so please i-download ko na yung replay niya sa YouTube, but you can also watch it sa Facebook pa rin. It's still up there. So watch the replay na lang there, and then you ang daming learning. Sobrang sobrang natuwa talaga ako rin sa episode namin with John Fontanilla and with Marge Balbuena because they have given actionable items talaga, things that you can do right away after the show. Katulad ng ginawa namin kanina ni Sir Josel, that you will be able to do some meditation and mindfulness exercises right even after the show, 'di ba? Sobrang sobrang amazing. And ito todo natin, and we will cap off this series with two powerful women. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
Oh,
Okay, next
kilala
po
ko 'yan,
natin.
kilala ko 'yan. Oo.
Yes, okay. Next is sa Monday, next Monday we will be having Cherry Pua Africa. So siya naman po yung Chief People Awakener ng World Stage International Network, where Sir Giselle is also a part of. If you are familiar with NLP, if you're familiar with yung walking on yung mga baga ganyan, so mga death defying, ako I call it death defying, but na-defy mo talaga with the help of the group of Miss Cherry Pua Africa. Sobrang amazing ng grupo niya.
Breakthrough. I think the word you're looking for
Breakthroughs,
is breakthrough. Yeah.
there you have it. So there are a lot of breakthroughs na pinapa-experience ni Miss Cherry sa mga attendees nila, sa mga programs nila, and we will talk about that, what we can do at home if we will not be able to attend those trainings, what can we do para at least ma-calm down tayo and we could look at the world in a different perspective. So we will be talking about it next week.
Mhm.
And another special episode. This will not fall on a Monday, but on a Wednesday we will be having DJ Nicole Ayala. Oh my gosh! And sobrang nakakatawa because when we were thinking about the title of the episode, we told her that can we do it na I am exceptional kasi puro I am, 'di ba? I am
Mm.
exceptional or I am unstoppable. Then she said, "No, let's just make it I am a work in progress."
Nice.
Super humble and super honored ako to have her in the show. Excited ako dyan for next week. Sobra, sobra talaga. And yeah, so now that sobrang bilis, Sir Josel, we have come to the last minutes of the show, and I'm really really thankful for that you said yes. 'Di ba?
Oh, honored,
Sobrang
honored.
sobrang nakakatuwa to, and it's good talaga to talk about these kinds of things because I believe that if you have something good to share, especially for those people who are going through a lot of things and they don't know what to do anymore, and there is a method naman that we could use and they could also consume, then we should be talking about it more often, 'di ba?
Sure.
And yeah, and we should be listening to your podcast more often so that
Please, very kind of you.
so that it will ano talaga, it will help us in our day-to-day life. As I said,
Yeah.
it's a podcast. You can just listen to it while you're doing the dishes, while
Not
you're
not driving because you might fall asleep. I have a disclaimer.
totoo yun. Wag
Oo.
kaya, kasi ako, pinapakinggan ko siya sa gabi.
Oo.
Sa gabi ko siya
Okay.
pinapakinggan because not while driving because baka makatulog nga naman
Right,
kayo.
right.
Yeah. So, I really hope that more and more people will be reached by your podcast.
Thank you.
They need it. We need it. And I'm really grateful that you are sharing this to the world and not just in the
Happy.
Philippines. You're sharing it to the world. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Giselle. And
Thank you.
that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Money Talks. Until next week, bye.
Thank you, Heidi. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.